Hey kiddies, it's Trip Feature Tuesday once again, and this week we're going to look at the movies that I will be showing on my birthday marathon for this year. That's right, this year I'm turning 34, and as per my custom, I will have all my buddies over and watch a bunch of movies that they can't say no to. I promise I won't abuse this privilege as I have in the past. But anyway, this year I decided to share with everybody the movies that I was really obsessed with around like 10, 11 years old because, I'm not juvenile at all and or wanting to not really get into the fact that I'm turning 34 this year. So our menu is going to include the Flash pilot movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990, and the audience choice as to whether or not we watch Hudson Hawk or Killer Klowns from Outer Space. I don't know if you guys know this about me or if I've mentioned it that much on the triple feature, but I'm a big Flash fan. Basically, because of this show. Now, as you well know, I don't like using television that much on the triple feature. I try to keep it to movies. But, the pilot movie was a made-for-TV movie about the Flash, and it started me on the path of comic book obsession in general and Flash obsession in specific because it was perfect. Just watched it again a couple days ago, and it still holds up well. Oh my god. Created for TV by Paul DeMeo and Danny Bilson of Trancers fame, which explains a lot about the look and the feel of the show. There's a very Full Moon Pictures, Charles Band vibe to the show, and it also features Tim Thomerson of Trancers fame. And if you don't believe me, take a look at the Full Moon Pictures Dr. Mordred, which was originally intended to be a pilot for a Doctor Strange show starring Jeffrey Combs, which, man, if that had come out, maybe I would actually like Doctor Strange now. But it didn't, so I don't. And the look and the feel of both shows is almost identical, except, one guy runs really fast and the other guy waves his arm around and rotoscope effects come out. But so, 11-year-old Tom. No, he was 10-year-old Tom when The Flash came out. I remember seeing it like on a big promo for CBS fall preview shows. I didn't read comics much back before that, and so the only thing I really knew was the Super Friends. And I remember a guy running across the screen. I'm like, oh my god, that's the Flash from the Super Friends. And then I was even more surprised that, wow, I know who that is from the Super Friends. And then it came out, and it was the greatest thing ever, starring John Wesley Shipp as Central City police scientist Barry Allen, struck by lightning and bathed in electrified chemicals, is now the fastest man alive. Which, according to the show, at least in the beginning, was like 600 miles per hour. He could break the sound barrier, which he does in the first episode. It was with no small amount of amusement watching the pilot again, having, been obsessed with the current CW Flash show, which, if you're not watching, my friends, it has Grodd. It actually has bipedal super gorilla telepathic genius Grodd. It was fun watching all of the gags that the current show, not necessarily blatantly stole from the pilot, but there are a lot of similarities. Not the least of which the having home base in Star Labs with Christina McGee, played by the lovely Amanda Pays, playing Science Mom as opposed to Tom Cavanaugh's Science Dad on the current show. The show is intended to cash in on the fame from that little Batman movie that Tim Burton and Michael Keaton made, and it's reflected in a lot of the production design and the overall darker tone of a show about a guy that dresses in a bright red suit and runs around really fast. Not the least of which is Danny Elfman provided the theme song for The Flash, and Shirley Walker would provide all of the actual music for it, which is sort of fun. The Batman the Animated Series wouldn't have existed exactly the way we knew it without the Flash show. Shirley Walker, while she was predominantly an orchestrator at that point, I think this was one of the bigger gigs she had providing music on a regular basis, let alone for a superhero show. So that put her on the Batman the Animated Series people's radar, along with Mark Hamill actually called up Bilson and DeMeo and said, "I want to be on your show. Put me on your show." And then they let him be the Trickster, which obviously led to him becoming the Joker. But that doesn't have anything to do with the pilot. So Central City is besieged by a motorcycle gang called the Dark Riders, who have a penchant for throwing green nitroglycerin at everything they see. And it's really kind of disturbing and fun. And it helps set up a town that is so in danger that a guy running around in a Flash suit would be welcome. John Wesley Shipp playing Barry. Paula Marshall playing Iris West, and she and Barry's mother Nora, played by the wonderful Priscilla Pointer, helped the show pass the Bechdel test within the first 5 minutes of the actual show, so good on them. And a hell of a lot of POCs as main characters. I was just very surprised, looking back on it, how progressive the show actually was. Tim Thomerson of Transformers Flame plays Jay Allen. Barry's big brother, obviously a reference to Jay Garrick, the original Flash with the helmet. I could talk about literally every moment of the show and why it's brilliant. It's fairly self-effacing. It has a wonderful sense of fun. The cast was great. The suit, while I thought it was a good balance between, trying to make it something that someone could wear in real life while still making it a Flash suit. My only beef, as with the current show, the yellow boots, you're really going to want those yellow boots because it helps break up the monochrome and it helps the streaking effect look so much cooler. But oh my god, the Flash. I gotta tell you, pretty much the greatest day of my life was back in 2009, 2010, when I went to a horror convention and met John Wesley Shipp and Amanda Pays, but I got a picture with John Wesley Shipp. I got both of their autograph. Absolutely the nicest people. John Wesley Shipp is every bit as enthusiastic and fun on TV as he is in real life. So he was so excited that I was excited, and it was everything I wanted it to be. And unless and until I have children, this is pretty much still going to be my favorite moment in my entire life. Yeah. But then again, maybe I could live vicariously through my nephews. They are so cute. They haven't really done anything just yet. They need to get on that. The onus is on them to supplant meeting John Wesley Shipp as my favorite day. But I have faith in them. Next up, we have what is currently still the second highest grossing independent film of all time, the live-action edition of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, whereas I didn't really know much about The Flash before the Flash TV movie happened, I was deep in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle obsession because I was a red-blooded American boy back in 1989. So when the live-action movie came out, I needed to see it immediately and repeatedly. My poor dad ended up taking me and Greg out about 3 times to the movie theater. I think he only fell asleep once, so, good on him. But what an achievement. It's just a good movie. I mean, it's definitely a family picture. It's aimed at a broad audience, but it's a solid movie set in pre-Giuliani shithole New York. Frank Miller's type of New York, where, ninjas are out there kicking the crap out of people and stealing all their stuff. Who is there to help us but Mutant Ninja Turtles? Oh my god. And the Henson Creature Shop created the suits for our Ninja Turtles, and they looked wonderful. They were expressive. They looked like they were real. They looked like they were really there. It wasn't a cartoon. It was the actual turtles, and they were alive. And then you had the humans. Judith Hoag playing smart, savvy New Yorker April O'Neil. Casey Jones, played by the just chameleon. He disappears in a role. Elias Koteas. I gotta tell you, when Crash came out, it was really weird seeing Casey Jones having all sorts of scary, dirty car sex. But man, what a movie that was too. But Turtles, production design's great. The sewer layer looked real. I love that if you really look at their weapons, they look like they're handmade by like people that are like living in a sewer. The script was decent. I mean, it's a very straightforward kung fu movie. But your four main characters are Ninja Turtles and their rat mentor, played by the brilliantly talented Kevin Clash, who, even though I don't like Elmo, you have to give him credit for his puppeteering skills. The Turtles, voiced by different guys, except for one. They were all, like, everybody, the Turtles were basically played by three different people. There was, like, a guy in the suit for the regular scenes, there was a guy in the suit for the stunt scenes, there were puppeteers working the face, and a voice. So I lied. There are four. With the exception of Raphael, Josh Pace was both the in-suit guy and the voice for Raphael. And he, like all of the in-suit guys, has a cameo. He's the one. He's the guy in the taxi cab that Raphael jumps over and says, "What the hell was that?" So I got to tell you, when I found that out, I was like, "Wow, Raph is a white guy. You okay?" And then there's the Shredder. And while, a lot of people might have thought that the biggest challenge would be bringing the Turtles to screen and making them look realistic, but here's the thing. You have to do that. So that didn't surprise me as much when they pulled that off, because if that doesn't work, the movie doesn't work. The thing that I got impressed with was the Shredder looks exactly like the Shredder is supposed to look, but he is in real life wearing the giant metal Japanese helmet. Kabuto, I think, might be the word. And he's got the knives, shoulder pads, and the gauntlets, and the hand knives. And he looks great. Once again, played by one guy in person, but voiced by another. James Saito played the physical Shredder, Oroku Saki, and he was voiced by someone else that I don't remember, but the combination was brilliant. And there are all these great little acting moments with the Turtles and everything. Like, one of the best parts of the whole thing is at the end when they're having like the big boss fight with the Shredder, and Splinter finally arrives and calls the Shredder out, and the Shredder removes his mask. There's this beautiful moment where Raph is looking at the whole thing, and then he turns to I think either Donnie or Leo, and it's like, it's him. All of a sudden, like, there's backstory. Like, I mean, not all of a sudden, we got the backstory, but, like, they have been taught this story. There is an actual history between Splinter and the Turtles where they've been raised and they've heard the story about this guy, and then they find out they've been fighting him this whole time. And then Splinter just nails him. It's so awesome. If you actually listen to Splinter's speech, and just the things Shredder says, oh my god, I am sorry. This video is predominantly just going to be me rambling and degenerating into apoplexy, because I love these movies so much. These are the greatest things. I still watch these goddamn things. And yet I'm single, which, is a contradiction to me. Alright, I'm going to level with you. I honestly just couldn't decide which one I wanted for the third movie. I love them both. They were both so important to me. So that's why I'm going to talk about both of them. And then people at the party will have to decide if we're going to watch one, the other, or, my option, both. So we'll start with Hudson Hawk. Bruce Willis's pet project about a cat burglar and his cat burglar partner, played by the always wonderful Danny Aiello, who get into a lot of hijinks, stealing legendary art pieces from Leonardo da Vinci, which all hide the pieces that get connected together to form the crucial piece of an alchemical machine that turns lead into gold. Are you still with me? Oddly enough, nobody liked this movie when it came back. It has quite the cult following because it's actually really good. It's a lot like Big Trouble in Little China, where it's not necessarily ahead of its time. It is just a movie that is so weird and so many things at the same time that at minimum, marketing people didn't know what to do with it. At maximum, audiences didn't know if it was a joke or they were supposed to, take it seriously. The answer was, of course, yes, it is both a joke and also something you should just take seriously. Enjoy it. Have fun. Bruce Willis and Danny Aiello time out their burglary by singing songs. Because it makes sense? No! Because Bruce Willis just likes singing in movies and, in general. That's why he put out albums that I don't think anybody actually bought. It's so weird, like with James Coburn and the candy bar CIA characters. James Coburn is playing an ex-CIA agent named George Kaplan, which for you movie nerds at home is in fact the name of the spy that James Mason mistook Cary Grant for in Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest. His team, however, are all codenamed Candy Bars for reasons. Then they're all people you've seen before. Snickers, he's just a general jerk that you see in a lot of things. Almond Joy, I want to say she was one of the regular defense lawyers on the real Law and Order. But then you get Kit Kat and Butterfingers. Kit Kat, of course, is David Caruso before NYPD Blue. And he's playing a Harpo Marx character for no apparent reason, but he's sort of adorable as it. Particularly fun is he has a gag of dressing up as other characters in scenes, and if you watch the scene where he's dressed as Andie MacDowell, who I can't believe I mentioned, Andie MacDowell's in this movie, and she's lovely as she always is. When he's dressed as Andie MacDowell, he honestly can't stop laughing through the whole thing, because he's in a wig and a dress. But then you have Butterfinger, who is Andrew Bruniarski, who you wouldn't think is a good actor, but he is. More recently, he's been playing Leatherface in a bunch of different Texas Chainsaw. He was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, and I want to say the prequel to the remake. But more importantly, he played Christopher Walken's son in Batman Returns, and who'd have thought that guy, Andrew Bruniarski, does a great Christopher Walken impression. Dad, no, save yourself. Oh God. And Andie MacDowell's in it. And she's just cute as a button, playing a character that has a lot of different things going on. Leonardo Cimino is playing her boss, a.k.a. Scary German Guy from Monster Squad. Frank Stallone is in there. And then, of course, the Mayflowers, Darwin and Minerva, played by Richard E. Grant and Sandra Bernhard. Now, Sandra Bernhard, never really cared for, except in this movie, because everything, like all of her annoying-ish traits, work perfectly as Minerva. And Richard E. Grant, this is the first time I ever saw him in anything. And if you look at him, he looks exactly like the old Jim Aparo 1970s Joker, but without the green hair and the white face. Which is why I've always wanted him to play the Joker, because he'd be just perfect. They are basically the evil version of Gomez and Morticia Addams. And yes, I know exactly what I'm saying. Gomez and Morticia are not evil. They're actually very, very nice. They're just strange. These guys are evil, and they want to dominate the world. And they're yuppies in the 80s, so they basically think they're entitled to, and try to make it happen through the talents of Hudson Hawk and Tommy Five-Tone. There are a lot of good set pieces. There are a lot of great running gags. It's basically a crime fairy tale. Like, if you liked The Brothers Bloom, you should like this movie, because it's of that same, not sure if it's supposed to be taken seriously at all, but they are presenting a lot of crime, and it's just fun. Remember fun, people? I don't understand why people are moving away from fun so much. Oh, also, if you liked Mission Impossible 3, you should like Hudson Hawk, as Mission Impossible 3 has a lot of uncomfortable similarities to Hudson Hawk in terms of going to different countries, stealing everything, and breaking into the Vatican, among other gags. Alright, you want to talk some killer clowns from outer space? Let's talk some killer clowns. Let's talk some killer clowns from outer space. It's freaking Killer Clowns from Outer Space! It came on HBO. I think it was like sort of in the middle of it, or it may have even been like just, okay, this is what's on next, let me take a look at that. The Dickies theme song comes up with just this creepy version of circus music done to, punk ska music, and then we're off to the races. Everything about it is wonderful. The Kyoto Brothers puppeteer special effects guys, they did the puppets for Team America World Police recently. created all of these friggin' clowns, and they're all disgusting and horrible looking, but they look completely real. They look like they're there. The whole movie is set up like an old send-up of 50s horror movies, which is why the police officer Dave talks the way he does, very Dudley Do-Right, and just stuff. No normal person talks like that, and he's just great. And John Vernon's in there, because every good B movie needs that one real actor to legitimize the whole thing, you know, kind of like John Saxon in A Nightmare on Elm Street. He actually gets to deliver our title of the movie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Holy shit. There's Dean Wormer from Animal House and Rupert Thorne from Batman the Animated Series. All the gags are hilarious. It's just a funny movie. But at the same time, these alien clowns are actually going around killing people. And they're, you know, cocooning them to eat them later. It's so gross. And Christopher Titus is in there for, you know, whatever reason. And while it's like predominantly just silly and ridiculous, there are a couple of moments that are genuinely scary. The part in the burger place where that one clown is luring out this little girl who just doesn't know any better is actually really creepy and disturbing. Then we go back to just clowns killing people because they're aliens. That's the goofiest thing. I love the idea that in a universe of infinite possibilities, there could be an alien planet that is populated by things that look like clowns to us, but just look perfectly normal to them. And having all the clown accoutrement, tracker dogs made out of balloons, cotton candy cocoons, popcorn monsters, little ray guns. It's Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And all four of these movies were watched over and over and over again. I could also put in Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman '89, but everybody's seen that forever, so that's why I'm probably leaning towards not showing it. But The Flash Pilot, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990, Hudson Hawk, and or Killer Clowns from Outer Space for my birthday, because I'm me, and I'm still not quite an adult, but I think that just makes me more fun to hang out with. So I'll see you guys next week.